Hey everyone, welcome to Gurudev Academy. My name is Kiran Bedre, and in this today's session, we'll be dealing with a particular topic called as critical reasoning. Now, if you are an aspirant of competitive examinations, let's say that if you are preparing for a banking sector examination and if you are preparing for any sort of MBA examinations and any competitive examination in general of this particular country, remember there is one important topic called as critical reasoning, which many of the aspirants fail to understand and fail to gather right information in regards with that. Whenever you prepare for any competitive examinations, we generally have different topics like quantitative aptitude, we have general English, we have general awareness, and then we also have something called as logical reasoning. In fact, in a very recent examination conducted by one of the premier institutions of the country, that is State Bank of India, in its mains levels examination, out of 35 questions in logical reasoning, 13 to 14 questions were asked on the topic of critical reasoning. So what exactly this particular topic is, which always is kind of a challenge to all the aspirants and in fact the experts also. So before I proceed and give you in detail information about this session, just take a moment or two and answer this particular question, and then we'll talk about the particular topic, and then there is a small surprise for you all, which I'll also discuss in a while. So let's begin a particular question. I want you to take a moment and answer this particular question, guys. Yes, here's the question. I hope everybody is able to see this pretty well. All right. Take a moment. The question is something like this. Meat consumption in holy places will be banned, and there are certain assumptions to this particular statement which says consumption of meat in holy places is not acceptable. Meat sale accounts for a high economic contribution, and third one, meat consumption is not good for health. So could you please tell me which of the following assumptions do you think is valid for the given statement? Of course, a couple of you might be going with first option, obviously. Okay, most of generally whenever I ask this question in my offline classes, a lot of them actually go with option number 1 or maybe option number 3, which is quite rare. But yeah, 1 and 2 are my generally go-to options, or if any layman student were to answer this particular question. Okay, so what should be the right answer in this case? Well, it looks a very simple plain question, and a couple of you have already made a choice by stating that first one could be the answer, or maybe second one, third in some cases. But actually, to be honest, the right answer in this case is welcome to my world. Every time you think you're right, especially in the chapter of critical reasoning, no, you're not. So why is that? Why this particular topic is so difficult? In fact, it is made difficult. It is not difficult, I would rather say. It's because I would rather say it's tricky because it involves a lot of thinking. See, we humans are both intellectual beings as well as emotional beings. And a lot of times what happens is whenever we are supposed to make a decision, most of the times our decisions are either from extremely logical perspective or maybe derived from an emotional quotient. So tomorrow when you all become managers and become officers, and when you have to take some crucial decisions, are your decisions going to be influenced by your ideology of certain understanding of a certain topic, or is it going to be from the logical perspective? This is why this particular topic is heavily asked in all competitive examinations, because it tests your decision making ability. And great managers, great officers, ability is to actually take the right decisions at the right time, and it is a blend of both. Right? So critical reasoning, in short, if I were to give you a small understanding of that, it is a test of your decision making, guys. Okay, now there are different topics asked in the examination, and critical reasoning will not only help you to, of course, make right decisions for competitive examinations and even in your life in general, because what happens is we as humans take a lot of decisions because of our certain background, community, ideology, all of that. But whenever you are approaching these particular topics, you have to leave all that behind. You just have to stick to something called as very, very important, that is called as rules, which we'll see in a while. All right. So I hope everybody has already had a really nice start to this particular chapter or particular topic, guys. Right. So let me again give you a small introduction. So this is a session we are dealing with. It's called critical reasoning. And generally, as I've told you, a lot of students in competitive examinations, they go through these different topics: quantitative aptitude, general English, logical reasoning, general awareness. Well and fine. But as I've told you, critical reasoning is combination of these two elements. The elements of logical reasoning as well as general English. An aspirant's ability to logically understand a statement as well as having a right grammatical aspect will make him or her a very good candidate for critical reasoning, someone who can easily solve this particular chapter. So what are the different topics that are generally asked in all these type of competitive examinations? Like as you can see in this particular, guys, these are the different topics I'm going to take you through. Okay, the topics are statement conclusions, statement arguments, statement assumptions, course of action, assertion and reason, and cause and effect, right? So what I'll do today is I'll be starting with the first topic, that is called as statement conclusions, which is very commonly asked in all sorts of competitive examinations. In fact, if you have seen any of the examinations and if you have seen any pattern, this one particular topic is very commonly asked, okay? And yet a lot of aspirants fail to get the right answer for this. As I've told you, the reason because they are not aware of the rules, and they rather take up the answers for this from a very emotional point of view, which is not the case. And the first question, when I asked you meat consumption should be banned in holy places, the most of you had chosen the first and the second option, and I'm sure the reason you chose because that particular decision derived from particular ideology of yours. Okay, nothing wrong in having your own opinion, but as I've told you, we have to purely depend on logic here and not emotions. So let's see how do we decide on that. Let's see how do we actually come to this particular conclusion or on the right answers. And so this session is going to be of two important parts. The first part, wherein I'm going to discuss about the different rules and how to approach this particular chapter. Then in the second part, we are going to discuss some questions wherein I'll be giving you a timer for each particular question, and I want you to type your answer in the comment box. Please be an active participant. And the third very important thing is I will be giving you a set of 10 questions, and those who answer more than 7 questions, okay, correctly, and put it in the comment box, you will get a present from Gurudevacademy. Yes, you heard it right. You will get a present right at your doorstep. So please stay tuned. Make sure you are participating in the comment box. And I'm telling you, this particular session is going to be one of the best sessions because it's full of knowledge, right? So without further ado, let's start the session. So as I've told you, the first session that we are going to start today is statement and conclusion. So what exactly is statement and conclusion? See, as you can see in this particular chapter, you are given a particular statement and a set of conclusions, not just one. So a statement could be anything, like, a particular remark, it could be a fact, it could be someone's opinion. And conclusion is, what do you understand from it? So the word conclusion meaning is, what do you understand from a given data or information given to you? Now, who made the data, who made the information is irrelevant. It's all about how much and what exactly you are able to understand from that information. Remember, in school days, we used to have these science and mathematical textbooks, and at the end of each chapter, they would provide us with summary, right? Those summary points. Now, what exactly those summary points would contain? They would contain what we have learned from the chapter, right? Now, who wrote the chapter? Why did they write? We don't care about it, right? We just have to understand what the statement is talking to us about. Or in other words, if I were to tell you another example of the meaning of the conclusion, growing up, we all read storybooks, and at the end of each story, we would have something called as morals. And what exactly these morals were? Morals were nothing but what have you learned from the story, or what have you understood from that story, right? So that is conclusion. I repeat again, conclusion is nothing but your understanding of the information given to you, right? Okay. Now, so what we'll do is, we'll just try one question for this particular chapter, and then we'll see some basic rules, okay? So again, take a moment, and okay, before I go with the questions, the format is generally in the examinations you are given one statement and 2 conclusions. Mind you, there could be any number of conclusions given, but this is one standard format which is generally asked in different examinations. And these are the different options given to you, like if only first conclusion follows, or only second conclusion, either 1 or 2, neither 1 nor 2, or if both 1 and 2 follow also, right? Mind you, the options might change, but so depending on the format, depending on the directions, you have to take the right option. Okay, so let's start with question number 1, and I want you to take a moment, carefully read it and tell me which conclusion do you think will follow here. Remember, it's a game of thinking. Don't answer immediately, because if you answer immediately, mostly that answer would be incorrect. And type in the comment box. It will be fun. So as you can see here, the statement says spitting here is strictly prohibited. Now I hope everybody knows the meaning of the word prohibited. The meaning of the word prohibited is not allowed or restricted. Okay. Second conclusion, and let's look at the conclusions. First conclusion says spitting in public areas is a bad or a terrible habit. And the second one is spitting in public areas can attract fine or penalty. And I'm sure most of you would be saying, yes sir, of course both follows. Okay? Of course, spitting in public areas is a very, very bad habit. That's what we were taught as growing up as kids. And this is also, kind of what municipal corporations talk about. If there's somebody spits, we have seen this information here and there. But guys, the right answer again in this case is both of them absolutely do not follow. I know, sir, क्या कर रहे हो? क्या आप हमारी ज़िंदगी से छेड़ रहे हो? Of course, yes. That's what an examiner would like to do, right? But we have to be smart enough. As I've told you, by the end of the session, I promise you that whenever you will see any statement conclusion, you will get it right. That's my promise. The content I'm going to give you in this particular session is gold. I can promise you on that, right? So let's see why it is incorrect. Okay? Or let's see one more example and let's see what is your answer in this case is. I'll discuss the answer, don't worry, but just focus here and let me know which conclusion in this question would be correct. Take your time and type the answer in the comment box. And an active participant also is going to get a present from Gurudev Academy, because we do want to honor you because you have been an active participant and you are showing immense interest. And हमारा भी फर्ज बनता है कि हम भी आपको उतना इंटरेस्ट दिखाएं, right? Yes, go for it. The statement says it is tough playing on weekends, a statement made by V. Kohli, and these are the certain conclusions, and I'm sure most of you would be going with those who are hardcore fans of Virat Kohli would be definitely going with second one. I'm a huge Virat Kohli fan. And yes, so mostly you might be going with second one and maybe first one. General answer I would get is 1 and 3. Okay, so let's discuss the answers first. Okay, and I'll tell you the reasons behind that. Definitely first one is gone, second one is also gone, and third one chalo theek hai maan lete hain. Why is that? See guys, the statement says it is tough playing on weekends, a statement made by Virat Kohli or V. Kohli. Now when I say V. Kohli, remember guys, it is not Virat Kohli. Why is that? Because why did you assume that it has to be Virat Kohli? It could be Viraj Kohli. It could be Vikas Kohli. Correct? It could be Vilas Kohli. And Kohli is a very common household surname in Delhi and Punjab, right? If I'm not wrong. So you do not have to assume things here. So this is where we need to understand a very basic rule. So the reason I took you to both these questions is I want you to talk about the basic rule. We'll see the basic rule and we'll come back to the same two questions and you will see how easily you will be able to solve these questions. So what does the basic rule say, guys? Look at the basic rule. I call it as zeroth rule or basic rule. Now the rule says you are supposed to stick to the statement only and you are not supposed to go outside of the statement. Right? And no logic has to be applied outside of the statement, and the statement is considered to be 100% true. You can never say, sir, ये question galat hai. Okay? You can never say if you come across a statement that says coronavirus is good for health. True. Now, what do you understand from that? You have to decide on that. You cannot debate on the statement. So, पहला तो ये basic समझ लो कि कोई भी statement जो है, it's always going to be 100% true, and you are supposed to stick to the statement. whatever the logic you want to draw, okay, if you want to say this particular conclusion is true, that conclusion has to be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. Let me explain you this basic rule through this particular example. Look at the first example which we had taken. Spitting is strictly prohibited, okay. Now conclusion is what, guys? What I understand from the statement. Now the statement is saying spitting here is not allowed, that's it. Now who made this statement? Why did they make? I don't know. Nothing else it talks. Now the first conclusion, if you say spitting in public areas is a bad habit or a terrible habit, have they mentioned anything about that in a statement? Because what does the basic rule say? You are supposed to stick to the statement. So if you want to draw any conclusion to be correct from the given statement, this particular conclusion or the points mentioned in the conclusion should be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. Now there is no hint of whether spitting in public areas is a good habit or a bad habit mentioned in the statement. So if you say this conclusion is true, you are going outside of the statement, but the rule says stick to the statement only. I hope the reason I'm going a little slow here so that you understand the basic concepts, and the moment we solve questions, you will be like walking on ice, right? I mean, as a bird or whatever it is, free flow, right? Next, spitting in public areas can attract fine or penalty. Again, nowhere in the statement they have discussed what happens if someone spits there. Okay, we don't know. Nothing has been mentioned about whether they want to penalize the one who has done this particular mistake or offense, whatever you call it. So clearly that is the reason it is not mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly, and hence both these conclusions are incorrect. Now we'll apply the same rule, the basic rule, in the second case. Again, it is tough playing on weekends. The statement made by V. Kohli. The moment when you see V. Kohli, most of you would have taken Virat Kohli. Arey bhai, have they mentioned anything about Virat Kohli? As I've told you, because we are so quick based on our understanding or our feelings, emotions, that we just assume few things. We are not supposed to assume things until and unless it is clearly and explicitly mentioned in the statement. Now, who is this V. Kohli? I have no freaking idea. I have no freaking idea of who this person is, so I cannot really assume because this person could be a 10-year-old, he could be a banker, he could be some 90-year-old dude. I have no idea, right? So I cannot assume that person. Let's look at the first conclusion. Virat plays on weekends. Arey bhai, I don't even know who that V is. Okay, now how can I know who is this person? And suppose, assume that that is Virat Kohli. Have they mentioned explicitly Virat Kohli the cricketer? Nahi bhai. So do not assume that, correct? So I don't know what he does on weekends. I cannot 100% conclude what exactly he does. So clearly it is not mentioned about his weekend activities. So definitely I cannot conclude this. Let's move on to the second one. Virat is one of the finest players of the modern day cricket. Again, we don't know who this person is. Whether he's a cricketer, businessman, actor, dancer, absolutely no idea. I cannot conclude this also. But look at the third one. V. Kohli knows the difficulties of playing on weekends. Can I conclude this? Of course, yes. So why is that? Have they mentioned it? Yes, they have mentioned it. See, I'll give you one simple example. Suppose if you're traveling in a bus and someone sitting next to you says this one statement. You know what? Cracking UPSC examination is very difficult. You hear someone saying this particular statement. The statement is, cracking UPSC examination is very difficult. Now, when you hear that particular statement, can you conclude that the person who made this statement is also preparing for UPSC exam? 100%? Of course not, because we have no idea what that person does. What is the status of that particular person? But 100% I can conclude, because he's saying that cracking UPSC examination is difficult, he understands the difficulties. That is why he's making the statement. So because he clearly mentions that it is tough playing on weekends, 100% I can conclude that he understands or knows the difficulties of playing on weekends. As I've told you, if you want to draw any conclusions correct, it should be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. So that is why, hence, only 3 follows in this particular question. So I hope everybody is now clear. Basic rules sabko samajh mein aaya. I'm telling you guys, this critical reasoning chapter is all about thinking intellectually. इसलिए बोलता हूँ, anybody who understands critical reasoning, शाना है वो बंदा, ठीक है? If you want to become really smart and if you want to impress people around you, think. Always be smart here first, and rest everything falls right onto the place, and only critical reasoning will make you that person, right? Okay. Now, This is the basic rule. Never forget this rule in the entire chapter. In fact, critical reasoning wise. Let's move on to the next one. Okay. Now, based on this very particular rule, I want you to solve this. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds. 30 seconds, guys, and I want you to try this question. Basic rule, yaad rakhiye, that is, you are not supposed to go outside of the statement, and whatever conclusion you want to draw, it should be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. Logic statement में ही लगाना है अपने को, ठीक है? Let's do this. Draw the conclusion. Type in the comment box the right answer for this. Okay, Danny has proposed to Dia. He even brought her flowers. Okay. Now, from this given statement, what I can understand? Let's look at the first conclusion. Can I conclude Danny really likes Dia and wants her to be his girlfriend? Of course, because what is the meaning of proposed? Proposed is whenever you are expressing your deepest of feelings to someone, and of course, and the statement is again backed by he even brought her flowers. Such a nice gesture. Be like Danny. Okay, so clearly, first conclusion. Okay. Now let's talk about second one. Dia will accept Danny's proposal. That's a quite difficult part. You and I know. Why is that, guys? Clearly because the statement doesn't really talk about what Dia has responded with. We have absolutely no clue, right? So since the statement doesn't talk anything from the concept, from the perspective of Dia, it is out of the statement. So clearly this conclusion I cannot draw. But if you're a nice Danny, I'm sure you will get your Dia. Right? Alright, guys, let's move on to the next one. Anyways, the right answer in this case is conclusion number 1 is correct. Let's move on to the next one. Let's try one more example. Try one more example. Wahi basic rule pe hai. Stick to the statement and tell me which conclusion would you draw in this case. Type in the comment box. Be an active participant. Those who are an active participant will definitely get a nice present from Gurudev Academy. And guys, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Gurudev Academy. Like it, share it, subscribe it, do whatever the hell makes you happy, but at the same time like it. Okay. Chalo. Tell me the answer here. Security investments carry market risks. Okay. Hence, it is best to consult your investment advisor or agent before investing. Okay? This is a very particular thing, suna lagta hai, because we hear mutual funds ads, a lot of these cricketers, at the end of each ad, they will generally say this particular statement. So, what do we understand from this? Let's look at the first conclusion. One should not invest in securities. Arey bhai, does it tell that? Arey bhai, investing mat karo. No. It is telling risk hai. Depends on and it is advising you to take expert opinion, but it doesn't negatively say that do not invest at all. 100% I cannot conclude it because it is not at all mentioned in statement in that way. So clearly first conclusion is out of the context. Let's look in the second one. The investment advisor calculates market risks it is with certainty. I'm so sorry. The investment advisor calculates market risks with certainty. That is why the statement is saying if you want to invest, consult a security agent. It's not security agent, an investment advisor before agent. So clearly I can conclude that this particular advisor will help me giving those level of market risks. So clearly I can conclude the second one. So the right answer in this case is only 2 follows. Those who got it, fantastic. Those who didn't get it, don't worry. We have still a nice session going on. I'm sure you'll get your answers correct. Okay, that's my guarantee. Next one, guys. Let's move on to rule number 1. So basic rule, I hope everybody remembers. Do not forget basic rule that you have to stick to the statement only. Whatever conclusions you want to draw, which are valid to the given statement, they have to be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. Rule number 1, definitive word rule. Keep away from drawing a quick judgment on extreme words like must, always, will, all, never, only, etc. In short, generally the conclusions containing these words are not considered until unless they are mentioned in the statement. I'll simplify this. ठीक है? बहुत ज़्यादा ज्ञान पेल रहा है rule, but I'll just give you a simple example here. Suppose if you have a statement and you have some set of conclusions. In any of the conclusions, if you come across definitive words, now what exactly are these definitive words? See, these definitive words are extreme words. Like if I say, suppose, assume that this is my classroom and I'm saying all of you should do the work and come. When I say all of you, I'm referring it to each and every person sitting in the class. That is called definitive because I'm referring it to everyone. But if I say some of you should do the work, am I referring it to everyone? No. So generally such particular definitive words, if they are only used in conclusions, such words which are extreme words, generally such conclusions are incorrect. But suppose if you have statement and conclusion and definitive word is used both in statement as well as conclusion, okay, then what happens? Will the conclusion follow? Nahi. Why? Because here you have to depend on the context of the sentence. Okay, what do I mean by that? If statement is talking about something and your conclusion is talking about something, but both contain definitive words, doesn't necessarily mean your conclusion has to be correct. What if they are talking about two different things? Okay, so I repeat again, if you come across any particular statement or a conclusion where definitive words are present only in the conclusion, mostly such conclusions will not follow. But if you see definitive words present in both statement as well as conclusion, you have to understand the context. Again, I'll repeat, this rule that you see, it is not a 100% rule. Why? Because I told you in the beginning, critical reasoning is a test of not only your decision making, but it is also a test of your understanding of the language. Because what happens is, some people, they, by this rule, they'll just see the one word, okay, definitive word है, ठीक है, तो पूरा गलती होगा. ऐसा नहीं भाई, समझो statement को, वो बता क्या बता रहा है, ठीक है? Understand what it is exactly referring to. So with this rule, we'll solve one question so that you will be very, very clear. Try this particular question, guys, and as I've told you, type me the answer in the comment box. Fish is a good source of vitamin E, okay? And there are certain conclusions associated with this. Fish is the only source of vitamin E. Vitamin A2 is very essential. Now it is saying fish is a good source of vitamin E, and whereas first conclusion says fish is the only source, देखो definitive word, as if there is no other source for vitamin E. Like if you want to extract vitamin E, only fish, it is concluding. But the statement say anything like that? Absolutely not. So you have definitive word present only in the conclusion, not in the statement, and it is completely defining, or you can changing the meaning of the statement. Definitely it is not something that the statement is talking about, so definitely it does not follow. Let's look at the second one. Vitamin A2 is very essential. Arey bhaiya, have they mentioned anything about vitamin A given in the statement? No, it is completely outside of this. So I cannot conclude from the given statement. So the right answer is neither one nor two follows. Right? Let's move on to the next one. South Asia will remain unaffected by global crisis, a statement made by World Bank. Okay. There are two elements here, South Asia and will remain. See, will again is a definitive word, like pakka, unaffected rahega. And this is a conclusion can I draw? If suppose if this particular statement I have read, and suppose if I'm a guy from Sri Lanka, can I conclude that Sri Lanka will be unaffected by global crisis? Of course, yes. Now don't tell me that, sir, but Sri Lanka mein economic problem hai. Arey bhaiya, stick to the statement. Do not go outside of the statement, right? I'm just talking about the statement here. The statement says South Asia will remain unaffected by global crisis, and we know that Sri Lanka also comes under South Asian region. And in that region, if the entire region is going to be unaffected, obviously even Sri Lanka will be unaffected by this. And I'm clearly talking from the perspective of this statement, guys, not which is happening outside or what's happening outside. Clear? Please stick to the statement. So I hope everybody is clear. Basic rule, that is stick to the statement. And rule number one, if definitive words are used only in the conclusion, mostly, I'm not saying definitively all conclusions, mostly such conclusions will not follow. And if definitive words are used both in statement as well as conclusions, depending on the meaning, we will decide the answer. It could follow or it may not follow. Okay, let's move on to the next rule, the last rule, and then we'll solve all the questions. Of course, I'll summarize for a while. Rule number 2, one can make use of the established facts in evaluating the conclusions. Okay, अब you have given a particular statement and in a particular conclusion, a particular fact has been mentioned. And if that fact is relevant to the given statement, 100% it will follow. So I'll explain this rule through an example, otherwise it will get a little complicated. Okay, what exactly is an established fact, by the way, which is scientifically proven, universally known, okay, worldwide accepted, all of that. Let's look at the statement. All the nuclear countries have decided to prohibit further production of nuclear weapons. Okay, first conclusion, India will stop further production of nuclear weapons. देखो पहली बार definitive word है, all the nuclear countries prohibit. What is the meaning of prohibit, guys? Restrict, stop, ban. Now onwards, all the nuclear countries have decided no more production of nuclear weapons. Aman, peace, chain, nothing else. Okay, that's what they have decided. First conclusion, can I draw from this given statement this conclusion that India will stop further production of nuclear weapons? Couple of you might argue with me saying that, Arey sir, where have they mentioned in the statement about India? But my dear friend, what did the rule number 2 talk about? We are also supposed to take established facts into consideration. If all the nuclear countries have decided, don't you think India will also definitely come in this? देखो मैंने बताया था conclusion जो है statement में directly or indirectly it should be mentioned. This indirect thing is like this. What? India is a nuclear country, fact. And of course, if it is a fact, then obviously this particular rule will also apply for India, and hence first conclusion will follow. I hope it is clear, guys. So we can make use of the established facts. Okay. And just because it's an established fact doesn't mean that it has to be true. It has to be in sync with the given statement. If suppose the statement says, should India host football World Cup, and one of your conclusions says, yes, India has a rich cultural diversity, India has one of the ancient civilizations. Arey bhai, is it relevant to the given statement? Just because it's a fact doesn't necessarily mean it has to 100% follow it. It has to be relevant with the given statement. So anyways, first conclusion is true. Let's look at the second conclusion. All the countries will also follow the same. Will this particular statement, will this particular conclusion follow? Couple of you might be already have decided, yes, both follows. Arey bhaiya, nahi. Sir, definitive word to hai hi yahan pe. But guys, what did I tell you? Just because you have definitive word present both in statement as well as conclusion doesn't necessarily mean it has to follow. It may follow or it may not follow depending on the meaning of the context. If you observe the word all, it is talking about what countries? Nuclear countries. Now if you understand what do you mean by nuclear countries, the countries which have nuclear production, which are nuclear powered. Now out of, I'm not sure exactly how many nations as of now, the last time I had read it was 204 nations, please correct me if I'm wrong. So about 204 nations present on this earth. Not all the countries are nuclear powered, right? Like if you talk about maybe like Philippines, or if you talk about Sri Lanka, if you talk about Fiji Islands, of course they are not nuclear powered. They don't have nuclear weapons at all. So how will this rule is applicable to this country, applicable to those countries? Because this one says all the countries. अरे भैया जिस country में nuclear powered ही नहीं है वो क्यों ही इस पे ध्यान देंगे, ठीक है? Why will they even focus this? So clearly I cannot conclude this because it is not applicable to all countries. It is only applicable to only certain countries. Only I think 20-25 countries are only nuclear powered. Rest all are just chill. Okay. I hope everybody is clear. So the right answer in this case is, the right answer is only one follows. So this is the entire rules, guys. Okay. Let me summarize once so that now what we'll do is, before I go, make sure you right now subscribe Gurudev Academy YouTube channel, give us a thumbs up, and please share it with your friends, especially those who are preparing for competitive exams. And of course, if anybody who wants to really learn the art of thinking well, of course, to them, please do share it right now. And let's quickly summarize what exactly I'm talking about. See, in statement conclusions, you're given a statement and you're given a conclusions. You need to figure out which conclusion follows. Now, there are certain rules I told you. The basic rule. What is the basic rule, guys? Stick to the statement only. Whatever conclusion you want to draw, it should be mentioned in the statement directly or indirectly. That conclusion should not go outside of the statement. This is the basic rule. Okay? And the statement is 100% true. You cannot say that statement is wrong. Whatever they say, you have to consider it as true. That is the first basic rule. दूसरा हमने देखा कि rule of definitive words. If you definitive words are generally used only in conclusions and not in statements, mostly such conclusions will be incorrect. And if they are used both in statement as well as conclusions, it depends on the context. And another rule, that is rule number 2, we saw, if facts are used in the given particular conclusions, we can make use of that with the given, if it is relevant to the given statement, 100% it will follow. Agar nahi to nahi. Okay, so depending on the context. So I hope now you are very clear with the basics, guys. Now what we'll do is we'll solve some 10 questions or about 8 or 9 questions, and for each question I will be putting a timer here. Be excited because it's a game of really good thinking and also the timing, and you have to answer me in that timing. And for each question I want you to be an active participant in the comment section. As I've told you, the active participant in the comment section will get a nice present, a nice genuine present from Gurudev Academy, and of course there's an assignment for you all, which I will definitely tell you at the end of the video. Chalo, let's move on and let's start timer. आपका पहला क्वेश्चन ये रहा. You got just a minute. I'll just put it on top. हाँ, चलो. So I'll put the timer here, guys. Chalo, already 20 seconds gone. I'll give you 20 more seconds. चलो 30 ले लो, ठीक है. Tell me the answer. Type in the comment box. All right, time's up, ladies and gentlemen. Let's look at the answer. In a one-day cricket match, the total runs made by a team were 200. Out of these, 160 runs were made by spinners. Can you conclude that 80% of the team consists of spinners? I'm sure most of you would have said second one. But guys, those who watch cricket and those who are really good cricket fans, it's very easy for you all. Okay, those who are not, भाई देख लो, cricket ही है, IPL आ रहा है, कुछ तो देख लो भाई. Okay, let's look at the first conclusion, guys. Okay, now 200 out, so there were total 200 runs, and out of 160 runs made by spinners, 80% of the team consists of spinners. Do I know the composition of the players? Like in cricket we know that it's a team of 11. Do I know how many spinners are playing, how many fast bowlers are playing, how many batsmen are playing? Have they mentioned anywhere in the given statement? I have absolutely no clue. So I cannot conclude this at all. So this conclusion is absolutely incorrect. Let's move on to the second one. The opening batsman was spinners. Why? They could have batted at the lower order. They could have batted somewhere in the middle order. I don't know. It is not necessary, and it is not at all mentioned in the statement as well. I cannot conclude it. So what is the answer, guys? The answer is neither one nor two follows. I hope this is absolutely clear for you all. Chalo, let's move on to the next one. Chalo guys, be an active participant. Type in the comment box. Your time starts now. Chalo, 40 seconds. Okay, take 10 more seconds. All right, peeps, time's up. So let's discuss this particular question. The distance of 900 km by road between Bombay and Jaffna will be reduced to 280 km by sea. This will lead to saving of rupees 7.92 crores per annum of fuel. That's it. So what I understand from the context, okay? Transportation by sea is cheaper than that by road. Can I conclude this? Of course not. I'm sure most of you have gone with option number 1. You are very tempted to go by that. Guys, understand it very carefully. Nahi, absolutely nahi. They have told the entire statement is mostly based on saving of, or you can say fuel consumption. Nowhere they have done what is the cost of transportation. That is completely an entirely different thing this conclusion is talking about, which is not at all being mentioned in the statement at all. So that's why first statement is incorrect. Second one, fuel must be saved to the greatest extent. Of course, that's what the entire statement is focusing on. This will lead to saving of rupees 7.92 crores per annum on fuel. The statement, I can 100% conclude this, yes. So the right answer is only 2 follows. I know a couple of you might have little bit doubt on the first one. Sir, how come transportation by, how can I not conclude this? I'll give you a simple example. See, I come from a place called Hubli. So Hubli to Bangalore earlier would take about 7 hours by express train, and it would cost around, let's say, 400-500 bucks, right? But now the same particular distance from Hubli to Bangalore, because of introduction of Vande Bharat trains, the distance, or you can say the distance is same, but you can say the timing has reduced, like let's say about 5 hours, 4 to 5 hours, but the cost has gone incredibly high. You have to pay about 1,000 odd bucks. I have not traveled yet, but this is what the estimation. So can I say the transportation has become cheaper just because time has reduced? Of course not. It is quite the opposite. So you need to understand transportation has nothing to do with this, whether it is cheaper or not, because it is not entirely mentioned in this statement. I hope this concept is absolutely clear. Having said that, let's move on to the next one. Oh, time's up. 40 seconds, guys. Let's do this. Your time starts now. Okay, time's up, guys. Let's discuss this particular question. With the increase in consumption of petroleum products, this field, I'm so sorry, I think this particular statement has some error. Let me read it again. With the increase in petroleum products, it is feared, I'm so sorry. The statement should have been actually this field. Instead of that, it should have been, it is feared that petrol will be a rare commodity in the near future. Okay? Conclusion 1, petroleum products should be used efficiently. Can I conclude this from the statement? Of course, yes. Why? Because they are talking about it is feared, it will become a rare commodity. I hope everybody knows the meaning of the word rare. Rare means wherein a particular thing becomes so less that it might completely be wiped off from this particular face of earth, and we might not never again see it again, right? The danger of becoming extinct. First, of course, I can conclude. Can I conclude second one, that petroleum products are non-renewable resources? It's a fact, and I know that we can take the facts, we can consider facts, and with the given with respect to the statement, it is completely relevant as well. So the right answer is, as you can see, both 1 and 2 follow. Okay? Let's move on to the next one, guys. Chalo, your time starts now. A very good question. This, I think if I'm not wrong, was asked in one of the 2021 examination of MBA. Okay, so I've extracted from there. Solve it. "40 seconds. All right, time's up, everyone. The statement says, the constitutional amendment carried out in the monsoon session of Parliament prohibit child labor in any organization. Okay? Prohibits child labor in any organization. You know the meaning of prohibit means restricts, bans. Now, there is a definitive word here called any organization. Whatever field of work you're talking about, in such field of work, there should not be any child labor. That's what the particular statement talks about. Okay. Now, first conclusion, all employers, not employees, employers means the bosses, the one who run the organization in India must abide by this new rule. Abide means follow, they should implement. If you observe, there is a definitive word, and even this definitive word is talking about the very similar thing what the statement is talking about. Of course, yes. If you talk about any organization, whatever organization that you find in this country, द रूल सेज नो चाइल्ड लेबर, कहीं पे भी नहीं दिखना चाहिए. एंड ऑफ कोर्स सभी लोग तो फॉलो करना ही है भाई, बिकॉज इट्स अ रूल बाय द, आई मीन दैट्स व्हाट आई कैन कंक्लूड ऑफ कोर्स. ओके, सेकंड वन, all the victims of child labor now will enroll into the schools. All those kids who were working now, अब उनके साथ क्या होगा कि उनको हम स्कूल में डालेंगे अथवा वो चले जाएंगे स्कूल पे. We don't know that, right? Have they mentioned what happens to those victims in the statement? No, it only talks about a rule, but it doesn't talk anything related to this, which is completely out of the context. So the right answer is in this case is only one follows. ठीक है? Come on guys, if you are really liking the session, please hit a like button, subscribe to Gurudev YouTube channel, share it with your friends, right? Chalo. Let's move on to the next one. Chalo, a very good question again. I'll give you a 50 seconds. Chalo, do this. Yes guys, good question. Remember guys, conclusion necessarily, it's not necessary that it has to be directly point to point exactly वही mention होना चाहिए. No, indirectly. This is where the test of logic also comes in. Let's look at this. Look at the statement. It says population increase coupled with depleting resources is going to be, the depleting means resources which are reducing, and then you have increase in population. So there's definitely going to be huge problem, right? By the scenario is going to be the scenario of many developing countries in days to come, that is in the future. Remember, it's a very very important point, in the days to come, that is it means purely future. Can I conclude from the this particular statement that the population of developing countries will not continue to increase in future, will not continue to increase in future? 100% increase ही नहीं होगा. अरे भाई, first of all it has, statement is talking about how scenario क्या रहेगा many developing countries ka, but it has nothing to talk about whether the population will increase, decrease. It doesn't talk anything about in the given statement. So first conclusion is straight away you can say it does not follow. Let's move on to the second one. It will be very difficult. Can I conclude, can I understand from the statement that it will be difficult for the government of developing countries to provide its people decent quality of life? Of course yes. Indirect, I've told you, indirect way of understanding it. Why? Because coupled with depleting resources is going to be the scenario of many developing countries in days to come, right? So clearly in days to come means in the future. It is very, as I've told you, if you have more population and less resources, things will definitely go haywire. You definitely understand from this, okay? It's very simple. So the right answer in this case is only 2 follows. Let's move on to the next one. 40 seconds guys. Time's up. Sorry, time starts now. Remember, conclusion is all about what do you understand from the statement. Time's up everyone. Okay. The team manager humiliated means insulted Varun in front of his colleagues on a Monday morning. Okay. Can I conclude from this given statement that the team manager did not like Varun? Just because you come across someone humiliating or insulting someone, can we conclude that the person hates the other one? We don't know that, because the statement doesn't talk about the details of what exactly Varun did and what does manager feel about Varun. So clearly I cannot conclude this. It would be extremely incorrect guys. Second one, Varun was not as popular as his other colleagues. What has popularity to do with the humiliation mentioned in the statement? So clearly the right answer is, straight away you could say that the answer is neither 1 nor 2 follows. ठीक है? And guys, if you feel like okay sir ये question में थोड़ा गड़बड़ लग रहा है, मुझे ठीक से समझ में नहीं आया, right? What you can do is you can just type in the comment box. I will definitely reply to that, or maybe in the part 2. Of course, there is part 2 video coming for this, wherein I'm going to take some even more difficult questions where you have multiple options, not just 2 conclusions, 3 or 4 conclusions, right? And I'll be doing that part 2 also. You can, and I'll be clearing in that part 2. So let's move on to the next question, guys. Okay, we are almost coming to the end, guys. Chalo, let's do this question. I'll just try to pin it a little higher so that, oh wow, okay. Chalo, I hope I've not messed it up. Alignment, okay. Your time starts now, 40 seconds, guys. Make sure you are leaving a comment in the comment box. The active participant will get a very genuine present from Gurudev Academy. And why do we do that? Because we do want to honor the ones who are taking it very seriously, right? So it has to always be give and take. Chalo, let's move on to this particular question, guys. What does the question say? Only good dancers are invited to the competition. No one without dancing techniques is a good dancer. Conclusion, all invited dancers in the competition dance well. And second one, I'll try to simplify this one for you all. So I'll just take a little this one. Okay. So let's understand this, guys. It is saying there is a particular group of good dancers. Okay. You are having some good dancers, and these good dancers have been invited to a particular conference. And in this particular conference, okay, only the people who have good dancing techniques, in other words, good dancers, can I say, those are invited. No one without a good technique is not a good dancer. Agar wo good dancer hai hi nahi, will not be allowed in the conference. Very simple, right? Can I conclude that all the invited dancers in the competition dance well? Of course, because we are only inviting such people. So obviously first conclusion is true. What about the second one? Those dancers who do not have good dancing techniques are not invited to the competition. जिसको dancing skills आता ही नहीं है, जिसको मतलब technique ही ठीक से नहीं है, उनको नहीं बुलाया जाएगा. Of course, the statement says only good dancers, and जो भी good dancers है उसके पास होना चाहिए क्या? Dancing technique. So this one is also true. So the right answer is both 1 and 2 follow, guys. ठीक है? Now you might be wondering, sir, you say neither 1 nor 2 follows, but both 1 and 2 follow. Follow और follows में क्या फ़र्क होता है? Well, you have to attend my English sessions for that. So make sure you are following the updates for Gurudev Academy. I'll explain you there. It's a very, very important thing that most of them have no idea. Okay, very nice question. A question that I'm sure that most of you would get it wrong. See, I'm challenging you all. So please, correct me in this case, because I think most of the people would definitely give the answer incorrect here. 50 seconds, I'll give you 50 seconds. All right, people, let's discuss. Please do type your answers in the comment box. First one, people who speak too much against dowry are those who had taken it themselves. I hope you have clearly understood the statement. These are the very same people who will take the dowry and then they'll preach about, okay, don't do this. Pretty much like our politicians. And I hope I'll not be cancelled by this. Okay. Conclusion 1. It is easier said than done. Okay. Okay. Can I conclude from this given statement that it is easier said than done? Can I say that? Of course, yes. Because what is the meaning of this? कहना आसान है, करना मुश्किल है भाई. When do we say this particular conclusion, or when do we say this particular statement? We say this particular statement whenever we see someone, they say something and they will do exactly the opposite of that. So it is a proverb, or you can say it is a particular idiom which is completely relevant to the given statement. Yes, of course I can conclude it. Second one, people have double standards. Again, sir, double standards to mention kiya hi nahi. Arey bhai, what did I tell you? The conclusion has to be mentioned directly or indirectly. And the indirectly is what? Clearly from the statement I can assume that people are two-faced. It means the people have double standards. What is the meaning of double standards? कहना कुछ और है और करना कुछ और है. Like saying something and doing exactly the opposite. That is what the people are doing here. So that's why I can also conclude this. So the right answer is both 1 and 2 follow. ठीक है? Okay. चलो, let's move on to the next one. Last two questions I believe, and then we'll see some a very good question again. Let's see. Just a minute, guys. I'll just try to align it. Meanwhile, those who can see it, start. You got some extra timing here. I hope my alignment is correct. If not, please adjust. Chalo, your time starts now. 40 seconds. Because you got some extra timing in the beginning. Okay guys, time's up. Let's discuss this. So Ruben Marcos has been nominated as the best actor of the year. What I can conclude from the statement, okay? Ruben Marcos has given back-to-back hits. Can I conclude this 100%? Just because somebody is nominated, we don't know. Like, I don't have any idea how many movies this particular person has made. What if he has been nominated for only the one movie he has made in this entire year, or maybe in the decade? We don't know whether Ruben Marcos is a superstar, or he's maybe an old guy, or maybe he's a doc. I mean, maybe he's, I don't have absolute idea. Of course, I'm just going in too many details here. But clearly, guys, I cannot draw this first conclusion because the statement doesn't talk anything more about that. Second conclusion, Ruben Marcos may have performed very well in a movie. Of course, yes, I can conclude. For that is the reason why he's been nominated. So clearly, second one I can conclude. Third one, Ruben Marcos has won many hearts of fans and critics. Can I conclude this? Now, a couple of you would have definitely marked it as right, but guys, no, I cannot conclude this. Arey sir, why not? See, he has been nominated as the best actor for his acting performance. I hope you understand. The jury, the people who nominate or who are basically given the best actor award, they are nominated for the performance. Now, the statement doesn't talk or mention this particular person, Ruben Marcos, has won many hearts of fans or critics. It doesn't talk about necessarily in the given statement. It is completely given, I mean, it is completely quite irrelevant to the given statement, and hence it does not follow. So the right answer in this case is only 2 follows. Clear, guys? Chalo. Last question, I think. Last question. 2 questions. 2 more questions. This one, actually, I will not be solving. I want you to type me the answer, because we have solved a very similar type of question previously. So I want you to type this particular answer for this in the comment box. 50 seconds. Okay, time's up. So clearly it's a very similar question that we have solved previously. Please type the answer in the comment box. Okay, let's see how many of you get this right. The last question of the day. And don't worry, please don't go, because I have a very, very important activity for you all. So watch the video till the very end. And by the way, solve this. "40 seconds. Chalo guys, done. Time's up. Let's see. If Rajiv scores 95%, he will get the first rank. Can I conclude that Rajiv will get first rank? 100% can I conclude? I have no idea, because the statement gives a condition that until unless he scores 95, only when he gets 95 he will get first rank. So I cannot 100% conclude that he will get first rank. No. Second one, Rajiv will not get the first rank. Again, can I conclude that he will not get first rank at all? Again, no. So the right answer would be neither one nor two. No guys, the right answer would be either or, either one or two. So what is this either or condition? When do we have to use the word either or? See, either or condition, there are three important parameters. What are the three important parameters of either or? I'll explain you. First of all, individually, both these options should be incorrect. Okay. Ideally, when you look at the two options individually, like in this case, individually, when we looked at it, both the options were incorrect. Okay? This is the first condition. The second condition is, out of these two, there is only one possibility. Either Rajiv will get first rank or he will not get first rank. There is no third possibility, right? So that is the second parameter. And third parameter is both particular conclusions would be talking about the same element. Now what is the same element? About Rajiv getting first rank. It is talking about only same element, that is Rajiv getting first rank. And whenever a particular condition meets all these three parameters, then we have to go with what guys? Either one or two. So I believe you are absolutely clear with the chapter of statement and conclusions. So what is this activity I am talking about? So what I'll be doing is, I will show you a slide of 10 questions. I want you all to take a quick screenshot of that and go through those screenshots. No timer involved, nothing. Solve those very aram se, and by the time I make part 2, I want you to type all the answers for the questions that you have taken screenshot, and those who get 6 questions or above. I had told you 7 questions or above, but since it's a first video in the critical reasoning, I don't want to be a little harsh. I don't want to be harsh, so I will put it as anyone who gets 6 questions or more right answers, you will get a present from Gurudev Academy right at your doorstep. That's a promise from our side guys. Okay, so chalo, let's quickly start it. So take a quick screenshot for each of the questions. Okay, so here we go. Take a screenshot of this. Question number 2. Question number 3. Question number 4. Question number 5. Question number 6. Question number 7. Question number 8. Question number 9. And question number 10. So guys, please let me know how was this session. I hope you have had absolute fun learning this particular topic called as critical reasoning. On a very personal note, out of all the different subjects I teach, critical reasoning happens to be one of my favorite topics to teach. The reason is because it is also challenging to me. So even for the experts, we have to be in touch with these topics regularly because it involves a lot of strategic and analytical thinking. So having said that, I repeat again the activity. Those who get these questions, 6 or more than that, correctly, you will get a present from our side. Of course, we'll tell you how to do that, how do we are going to send all of that. But your first job is to type all these answers in the comment box with your name. Of course, you can just type, hi, my name is so and so, and you can just type your answers there. And share this particular video with all your friends and family, and make sure that everybody is getting this particular content, because the content on critical reasoning is very less, and the content that I'm giving you is of course of top notch. So thank you for joining with us. Please subscribe to Gurudev Academy, like it, subscribe it, and share it with your family and friends. Thank you. Signing off, Kiran Bedre. Good day.